All right. Welcome. I'm really excited about today's class because I took Meredith's class before this, and that really inspired me to do some different things. So we're actually going to start seated today, so you can find whatever seated position feels best for you. So cross-legged or on your knees or whatever feels best. And we're just going to really actually try to find what Meredith always harps on, which is finding length in your spine all the way from your skull down to your sacrum. So you really want to imagine, and this is kind of like a fun analogy for your body, to imagine that your two sits bones are just going down into the earth, like they're rooted down and they're pulling your hips back. So you can't really find a tilt of your pelvis if those are really rooted down. So first start with those hips and make sure they're rooted down. And from there, you can start to engage the core just a little bit, and you'll feel the ribs coming together here a little bit. So you don't want to splay them out. You want to find that tuck. And in that, you kind of want to press the skull back. I actually found out from Meredith that I drop my shoulders down too much, and you do want to have a little bit of lift in those shoulders. That takes a lot of pressure off the traps. So pressing that skull back, so you're not just lifting your neck, but it's sort of the whole neck is being pressed back. And so try to find some length here, and you can play around with it a little bit. See, sometimes I do my little chicken neck to see what it feels like differently. So see what feels good here, and just take a second and try to remember this position and the different moves that we do, because throughout the class, we're going to be in a variety of different positions, laying on our back, standing up. And regardless, you really want to keep those roots down in the ground as much as you can, core engaged, and that neck staying as even as you can. So we're actually just going to start with some shoulder rolls here. You can keep the hands on your thighs. You can add a little bit more, a little fun to it, but those hips are still, even though you're moving the shoulders, the roots are still in the ground here. So also getting some movement in your thoracic spine and your ribs. Whole time keeping that neck back as much as you can, loosening up here. We'll switch directions other ways. So you can bring those elbows forward a little bit. You want to warm up some of the upper back muscles. Okay, shake it out. We're gonna come onto our backs here. So finding that same rooted position, but in our hip bridge. So finding those hips pressed down into the mat, those feet are down. And again, finding that same core engagement, so those ribs are kind of tucking together rather than splaying out. You can put your hands on your thighs here and kind of lift up that tailbone, and then we'll lift up into that hip bridge. Again, doesn't matter how high you're going, as long as those glutes are engaged here. And you can use those hands to kind of press down on your thighs or on your hip bones, and you will really feel the glutes start to engage here. So take a moment, try to find that same length you just had. And then we're gonna heel toe that left foot to the middle, and without moving that pelvis, bringing that right leg up to a 90-degree angle here. So sometimes we find ourselves dipping our pelvis here. You're gonna keep that pelvis so both the hip points are in line. All right, we're taking that left hand and pressing it against that right thigh. So this is where you're going to start to heat up. So pressing that left hand against your right thigh, building some tension here. That left glute should be fired up. If this feels good, stay here. If you want to add on, you can start to straighten and bend that right leg. So warming up that hamstring. And when I say straighten, obviously I can't even straighten my leg, but we're just trying to get some extension in that hamstring. 3, 2, 1, come back to 90. You can take that left hand off, plant that right leg, heel toe that right foot to the middle, extending that left leg up. Again, still finding that neutral spine here. This time taking that right hand, pressing it against the left leg. Good. Pressing that right foot down into the mat. So really getting some pressure here between the thigh and your right hand. You might also feel some length in your right hip flexor too. All right, if you want to stay here, feel free to. If you want to add on some of the hamstring action, feel free to add that on as well. Good. 3, 2, oh, it's burning. 1, good. Without lowering, last thing, we're just gonna add, so put those hands back on your hips, a couple little glute pulses here. If those knees feel wonky, you can always walk them out a little bit. Last little squeeze of those glutes for 3, 2, 1, and then lower all the way down. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, we're going into our core sequence here. So feet are on the ground, bringing those hands behind your skull, elbows are pointed up towards the ceiling. Again, finding that same position, those ribs coming together back against the ground. Taking a big inhale, exhaling, and lifting up off of your mat, shoulder blades lift, and we're gonna lift up that left knee to a 90-degree angle here. Good, lowering it back down, inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. This time that right leg is coming into hip flexion. Pressing that head back into your hands, lowering that right leg and down. As you can imagine, we're adding on. Inhale, exhale, and lift here. That left leg comes up. We're coming back to that same movement. So right hand pressed against your left leg, really pressing down with the core here. Hand goes back, left foot down and lower. Inhale, exhale, and lift here. That right leg is coming up to your 90-degree angle. That left hand is pressing against that right thigh, really pressing down with your low back. Good, hand goes back, lower down. Inhale, exhale, and lift up off those shoulder blades. Left foot comes up, right hand comes on. If this feels good, stay here. If you want to add on, you can extend that left leg straight up. So, yeah, your left arm goes straight up. Woo. All right, left arm back, right arm back, left foot down. Inhale, exhale, and lift. That right leg comes to 90. Left hand goes to right thigh. You can stay here. If you want to add on, you can straighten out. Woo, that right arm. All right, bring that right hand back, left hand last time here. So you can take any of those levels, pick what works best for you. Inhale, exhale, and lift up that left leg, right hand to left leg. If you want to extend, feel free to. If you want to hover that right leg, you want a little extra core action, feel free to add that on. All right, hand goes back to neck, left hand. Last one, inhale, exhale, and lift. Right leg comes to 90 degrees. That left hand comes to your right leg. You can stay here. You can add on that extension if you want that challenge, and then you can hover that left leg if you want a little bit more here. All right, right hand behind, left hand behind, and you're down. Nice. Feel free to hug those knees in for a second if you want to roll out the low back for a second. All right, let's hop right into it. So I made this class very mobility and stability based, so I don't actually think there's any impact in this whole class. It's very core and glutes engaged. Each round has a glute component, a core component, and an upper body component of some sort, so we'll be adding on. So our first one, for example, your first 30 seconds, so there'll be 2-minute intervals. So first 30 seconds is going to be a slow push-up. So we're finding that same alignment here. So again, we're not here, we're not here. We're finding that straight spine. And we're gonna be doing slow push-ups. So whatever that means for you, you can slow. You don't even have to go all the way down. You're just going halfway and back up. So I'm doing them all on my knees. If you would like to do them on your toes, more than welcome. Our second one, you're actually gonna have to change the movement or where your knees are. So your knees are gonna go wide for your push-ups on the second round. you're gonna come all the way down to the ground, bring those feet together, and lift both knees up. Really big hip flexor stretch and glute engagement. Lower those knees, and then pressing back up. And then our third add-on will be our upper back exercise. So we're finding that push-up, glutes are engaged, coming down, lifting up into the glute, and then lifting those hands up to a Superman, and then lifting that chest just a couple inches up, planting those hands, pressing back up into a push-up. So we're really getting full body engagement there. And again, take this slow. These all should be very slow movements. All right, we're starting with our push-ups here. Again, slow as you need to go, half speed, whatever works best for you. 3, 2, 1. So sliding the scapula down your ribs just a little bit, and then pressing back up. So not letting the shoulders protract, sliding the shoulder blades down your back and pressing back up. Hugging those elbows in a little bit. All right, 3, 2, you're bringing those knees wide, feet together, still coming to that push-up. This time you're coming all the way down, lifting both knees up, squeezing the glutes, planting the knees, pressing back up. So this is nice and milky, slow, lifting those knees, squeezing the glutes, and then pressing. Oh, yeah. Yeah, nice and milky. All right, we're adding on that upper body lift. So those arms come to your Superman. You're lifting up a couple inches, planting those hands, coming back into your push-up. Taking this at your own speed. 10 seconds left. So you're doing all 3 components here. 3, 2, 1. 30 seconds rest. We'll do that one more time. If you have any questions or want any modifications, let me know and I can help you out. You can see it's important to go slow on these because you don't want to mess anything up. Everything feel okay? Yeah? Okay, cool. All right, we're starting back into those push-ups. And 3, 2, 1. So before you even start finding the ground, finding that flat spine, let's go. Nice and slow here. Mom, slide the shoulder blades down a little bit. Core engaged. Mom's looking at me like I'm crazy. All right, getting ready to add on that glute lift. So bringing those knees wide, feet together, lowering down, adding on that glute lift. Good, I'm gonna watch Ryan for this one, so keep going. Nice, that looks awesome. Good, all right, getting ready to add that upper body lift in 3, 2, 1, bringing those arms to goalpost, lifting up just even a little ½ inch. You don't want it to go in your low back. You want to keep those glutes engaged. Maybe this last 10 seconds, you want to see if you can slow everything down just a little bit more. Each movement. 3, 2, 1, relax. Nice, grab some water if you need it. We're going on to that second round. How'd that feel for everyone? Más o menos. I know I probably said that wrong. All right. Next round, we're going into a dolphin. So you can bring those hands down in 2 different ways. So you can either bring them down together if you feel like you have really tight shoulders, or you can bring them down like parallel essentially. You're letting that neck go, tucking the toes. You can keep those knees as bent as you need to here. And then this is the important part. You're puffing up out of those shoulders. So pressing into the hands and lifting up. So I see so many people just relax down. Really try to press into those hands for your dolphin. So you're not in the dolphin the whole minute and a half, I promise. So first 30 seconds, you're in that dolphin and you're rocking up and down off those toes, up and down. Second 30 seconds, you're dropping down. So you'll be in a quadruped, but your forearms are on the ground. You can bring those knees in a little bit, and then you'll do one on each side, tuck the toes. You'll do one roll, bringing those knees down, one fire hydrant. And then your third one is adding on. You're gonna have those hands on the ground, you're gonna press into the triceps to come up, and then lower back down. Again, coming in to our fire hydrants, and then back into our first. So a little bit of a combo here. So we're getting the core in that dolphin, our glutes in our fire hydrants, and then our arms in those tricep lifts.
This is gonna be so hard.
Ryan, this is gonna be so hard. All right, starting with that dolphin. If you need a modification, feel free to just do the whole thing without your knees lifted up off the ground. 3, 2, 1. So finding that dolphin here, really pressing again into those hands, puffing up that back. So you're just rolling.
Holding this?
You're rolling up and down off the toes. So yeah, there you go.
Up onto my one toe.
Up onto your one toe. Yep. Just kidding. That's just what Ryan does.
Yeah.
He's a weirdo. Good. So really pressing in and out of the shoulders. All right. You're lowering those knees. You're coming to one fire hydrant on each side and then tucking the toes, lifting back up. You're doing one roll forward, one roll back, lowering those knees, side, side. So take this at your own speed. So you're getting a mix of that shoulder work and your glute work here. This next one will add on that tricep lift. So when you come down to that quadruped, you'll do fire hydrants on each side, and then you'll press into those hands, push up straight, and then back down. Good, so pressing into those hands for your triceps, and then back down. We have 3, 2, 1, 30 seconds off. So feel free, as always, to take out what you don't want to do from that, add in what you do. This is yours, your workout. Feel free to skip something if that feels better for you, add something in. Any questions? Feel okay? All right. We're starting back with that dolphin in 3, 2, 1. So we're back into our dolphin. We're just hinging forward a couple inches and back, really pressing and opening up those shoulders and your upper back. My shoulders heat up immediately in this one. All right, getting ready to lower down into that fire hydrant in 3, 2, 1. So one fire hydrant on each side. Trying to keep that pelvis as neutral as you can here. Pressing back into that dolphin. One lift forward and then lower those knees down. Good. Keep going here. You got this, Mom. So you're doing that fire hydrant, yeah, with your forearms down. All right, this next time you'll add on our tricep lift. So really pressing into those hands. Final 30 seconds here. Final 15 seconds. Good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Nice job. I don't know why my triceps just always really burn on that one. All right, we're standing up for this next round.
Your forearms hurt when you do Dolphin?
No.
Like your, really? It doesn't
No.
burn at all.
All right, we're coming into Sumo Squad. I think we've all done this before. So you can have those toes turned out as much as you want. You could also just have it in a normal squat. First 30 seconds, we're just doing those Sumo Squats. So sitting the hips back and down. Again, finding as much of a lifted chest as you can here. Our second exercise is adding on our motorcycles, which are mom's favorite things in the whole world. So coming down into that Sumo Squat, bringing those arms out, mom loves these, shoulders back and back up. So down into that Sumo Squat, elbows back. Last add on, you're coming down, motorcycle, and then you can't really see my head here, so I'm gonna just, you're coming down, motorcycle, hands behind your head, oblique dip, back up. Lowering down, sorry, motorcycle, oblique dip, back up. Whew, all right, my legs are already burning. Let's do it. I'm gonna move you up here for this one. All right, let's do it. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So 1 Sumo Squat, actually just unlimited Sumo Squats here. Just getting into that movement, really finding that same ribs tied together feeling. I find that I really tilt my pelvis in a Sumo Squat, so see if you can really tie those ribs together. There's a little hinge in the hips. Those inner thighs are feeling a little bit of work. Your adductors, Ryan loves those.
Well, I don't, but I have to.
All right, adding on that motorcycle. So when you get to the bottom, bringing those arms out, squeezing just back a couple inches, and then raising up. Coming down into that squat, squeezing those elbows back. Like you can almost imagine that you have something weighted on your arms. That's how much tension there should be.
I can't stay up. You know that.
That's okay.
Come on. I have to go forward.
All right, we're adding on that oblique dip. So coming down, motorcycle, hands behind your head. Again, this is really coming from that oblique muscle, not from your hips or your ribs. So coming down, motorcycle, oblique dip, oblique dip. We got 10 seconds left here. Good. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. We'll do that one more time. La, 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 la. I don't know why my knees were feeling funny that time. All right. We got 10 more seconds here. I feel like headless neck. You can't see my head.
Nearly headless neck.
Nearly headless neck. All right, we're starting back with just those normal Sumo Squats in 3, 2, 1. So you can do what I'm doing, which is a very small movement, or you can do what Ryan's doing, which is more of a full squat.
More regular squat.
Yeah, so really, I mean, this is whatever you want it to be. Whatever.
Hillary,
Yeah.
are your feet supposed to be out or more like parallel to each other?
Depends on
can they
what kind
be
of squat you want to do.
Toed out? Well, and a sumo squat, what is that exactly?
On a sumo squat, traditionally your toes are out. But
Splayed
that's
out.
wonky on my knees, so I don't always do that.
Okay, just wondered.
All right, add on those motorcycles. So you can see even here, I tilt my pelvis when I come down, so I really try to tuck, squeeze, and back up. All right, adding on those oblique dips, doing our motorcycle, oblique dip on each side.
I can't do that. Like you feel like you're upright.
And you come down here.
You like.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Good, final 10 seconds. Good, 3, 2, 1, relax. Whew. All right, we have 2 more rounds to go. Feel free to grab water. All right, this next round, I turned it too much. This next round, we are gonna be in quadruped. So finding that same position that we all know and love. And our first exercise is going to be our scapula lift. So I'm actually gonna turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing here. So moving right out of the way. So you're gonna press your shoulder blades up and then relax them down. So we're not arching the back as much as you're letting the scapula relax down, and then you're pressing your hands into the ground and then squeezing them back. So really getting into those muscles that surround your scapula and connect them. Our second one is going to be the scapula lift to a modified side plank. So we're doing 1 scapula lift of each, finding that neutral. You can pivot that leg if that feels better, or you can come to your modified side plank in a way that feels most comfortable to you. If you want to add on that leg lift, feel free to add that on. And then you're just coming right back into our scapula lift and then back into that modified side plank. And then our last one is we are adding on a plank. So we're doing 1 scapula lift of each, coming into that modified side plank and then tucking that toe, holding that plank for a second, and then bringing those knees down, 1 scapula lift. So we'll stay on one side for the whole first round, and then we'll switch the second round. All right, let's do it. Starting with those scapula lifts in 3, 2, 1. So pressing into the shoulder blades and then relaxing them down your back. Pressing into them and relaxing them down. So you should feel maybe some loosening around the scapula as you really get into that fascia. Fascia. That core is still engaged, though that lower back should not be taking the weight. All right, we're adding on that modified side plank. So when you get to that neutral spine, coming onto that right hand, bringing that left foot back, and you can extend that left leg up if that feels okay for you. Holding for a second, coming back down to the center, back into those scapula lifts just one time through both, finding that neutral spine into that modified side plank. Back to the center. All right, this time we're adding on the plank if that feels good to you. So coming to that modified side plank, holding here for a second, and then planting that left hand and left foot, finding that plank position for 3 to 5 seconds, and then lowering those knees down, scapula lift. Modified side plank. Then finding that plank position, and then knees down. All right, 3, 2, 1, relax. So this is more of a slow burn round. So we're feeling, what? Nice and milky. So trying to take everything slowly. If you want to add on this time, feel free to add on a full side plank for that side plank instead of a modified side plank, and then you can just roll back over into that plank. All right, we'll start with those scapula lifts in 3, 2, 1. So you can drop those scapula down and then pressing into that upper back. You can almost imagine you're kind of pulling that floor away when you lower the scapula down, like you're pivoting those hands and then you're pressing them back up. Should be opening some stuff in that upper back. All right, getting ready for whatever kind of side plank you want. So when you find that neutral spine, you want to take a full side. Oh yeah, we're on the other side, good call. And then lowering both knees down, back into that scapula lift. Finding your own speed here. All right, adding on that plank. So after that side plank, you're coming and finding that plank position for 3 to 5 seconds, and then lowering those knees down. Finding that plank. Three, 2, 1, relax. You can give those wrists a quick roll if they were feeling like they were adding up a little bit. We have one final round to go. So our first exercise will be curtsy lunges. So finding again that neutral pelvis, you're stepping behind, far enough behind that you can get that knee behind without your pelvis shifting. And we'll stay on one leg for the whole time, coming to our curtsy lunges. Our second exercise, we're gonna add on everyone's favorite, an abductor lift. So coming to that curtsy lunge, and then coming to that abductor lift, curtsy lunge, abductor lift. And then this last one is our balance challenge of the day. So coming to that curtsy lunge, our abductor lift, and then our one leg deadlift. So you can bring those hands down if that feels better. And then right back in, curtsy lunge, ooh, abductor lift, that one leg deadlift. So feel free to take out the one leg deadlift if you don't want to do that, or you can always take that foot behind and kind of use it more as a balance mechanism. All right, let's do it. So we'll stay on one leg for that whole first time. Starting in 3, 2, 1. So stepping that foot behind for your curtsy lunge. You can still find some balance here. You can always bring that knee up and find a little bit more balance engagement. If this ever feels funky on your knee, feel free to find a normal lunge instead. What? We love curtsy lunges here. All right, getting ready to add on that abductor lift. So keeping that pelvis even, flexing the toe out to the side. Here, I'll move so that I'm not in your way. Core is engaged, toe is flexed.
Is my pelvis okay?
Yeah, you can even put your hands on your pelvis. All right, adding on that one leg deadlift if you so please in 3, 2, 1. Again, choosing your level here, up to you. 15 seconds. My glute is burning. Whew. Good, 3, 2, 1. Ah! Good job, everyone. Take 30 seconds off, and then we'll go to that last side. And then we'll do some cooling down. All right, finding that position, your neutral pelvis, your core is engaged. We'll start in 3, 2, 1, stepping that left foot behind this time. Again, you can still find that balance if you want to not ever lower that leg on the front end. All right, getting ready to add on that abductor lift. So make sure you have that neutral pelvis first in 3, 2, 1, adding on. Again, find your own speed. You can go as slow and as methodical as you need here. There's no need to rush these. pelvis was a little uneven on that one. All right, adding on that airplane or one leg deadlift. If you want here, after that abductor lift, I have one leg that I have much better balance on. This is not my balancing leg. Final 10 seconds here. Brian's using me to balance. Good. 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. Nice job, everyone. All right, we're gonna do a couple more dynamic cool downs first, and then we'll sit down. So you can find yourself sideways on your mat in side lunge position, so those feet are out wide. You can put those hands in your hips if that feels better to push your hips back, or if you feel like you have enough space to bring the hands down to the ground. But trying to get into those hamstrings, into your adductors, to your inner thighs, and just take a second and really sit those hips back. Imagine that there's someone like literally pulling those hips behind you back. So, and I had a one-on-one with Laura Hyman last week, and she really reminded me to press out my knee. So my knee was falling in a lot. So make sure that knee is pressing out so you're finding some space out. Good. Once you find the middle here, we're gonna come just into that right leg and then plant. If you have a block, you can do that. Plant that left hand and then twist your ribs first, and then you can extend that arm up if that feels okay. If it doesn't, you can put the hand on your back. Yeah, you can lift it up, you can put it on your back, you can put it on your knee, but you're finding you're pressing through that left hand, so you're getting that twist in your spine. Good, we'll come to the other side, so bending into that left leg, that right hand comes down, twisting with the ribs first, and then extending that arm up, if you want, or on your back. All right, we're gonna twist all the way to the front and come into a standing split. So just hinging forward, lifting up that right or your left leg. If you want to be on a couch, you can have a couch in front if you want to have your blocks, or again, getting that stretch in your hamstrings here. Trying to lift the core and the ribs up off your thighs too, so that as much as you can, more the feeling rather than the actual move itself. You're just trying to get some lift so that the hips are less compressed here. Good, we'll switch to the other side. Extending that right leg out behind you, getting some length in your left leg here. Good, you can bring both feet together. We'll come into a happy squat. So if you want to bring those elbows together, you can, and hinge at the hips. And really just let that low back release here. As long as those hips are hinged back, you should feel pretty safe. All right, you can raise all the way on up. We're gonna sit down, cross-legged. And you're gonna bring one arm down to the right side and then one arm up to the left. And you're just gonna kind of close them around yourself and then extend the other way. So getting some opening in your chest, closing around yourself, so getting a little bit of a stretch in the upper back, and then extending the other way. So you can cross around as much as that feels good. And you can even kind of protract those shoulders if that feels good. So you're getting some extension and then extending, opening that chest, coming around and then extending the other eye. Also, we love physical touch of ourselves. You can give yourself a little pat on the back. Good. And then bringing those arms to our cactus. And we're just going to come to some of those twists of our thoracic spine and our ribs. Same position here. So again, those hips rooted down deep into the earth. They're held down here, so it's not your pelvis that's moving. It's all in those ribs, and that might feel uncomfortable. For me, I feel like I don't have a lot of mobility here, but I'm trying to loosen up that connective tissue. Good. We'll twist all the way to that left side, and then you can extend those arms out straight if that feels okay. So getting some opening in that chest. We'll come back up to center, switch to the other direction, extend those arms up for a twist. All right, back to center, and we'll just finish with some of those shoulder rolls to end. Whatever direction feels best for you. Wahoo! All right, you did it. Would love feedback, thoughts. I'm teaching next Tuesday at the same time. So if you have requests, I made this one much more mobility and stability based. So if you would rather me go back to more HIIT ones, let me know. I'm kind of just taking whatever the audience wants. I'm gonna stop recording.